Vas a ver, tú vas a ver, vas a ver, vas a mirar. Tú vas a mirar, vas a mirar, vas a mirar, vas a ver pinche pueblo, vas a mirar, vas a mirar. Ok, vamos a mirar, vamos a mirar, vamos a mirar, vamos a mirar. ¿Quién eres tú? ¿Quién eres tú?
Yo
¿Qué estás haciendo? ¿Qué estás haciendo? Okay, I want to see it. I want to see him. I'm gonna break your fucking
Fuck you.
Watch. Well, you want to lose it? Aquí se lo aquí, aquí se lo aquí.
What's up, fight fans? Welcome to my channel. This is Johnny, and in today's video we're going to be going over the statistics that nobody talks about when mentioning February's title fight at light heavyweight between David Benavidez and David Morrell. Guys, before we continue, I want to say thank you to all the new subscribers. Thank you to everybody who's been with me since day one. If you haven't already, could you please hit the subscribe and notification button? What this will allow me to do is every time I put out something that's new, you'll be the first to be notified. Thank you. Guys, that little intro video that we just watched happened today in Los Angeles. That is Benavidez and Morrell doing some promotional work, getting everybody hyped, myself included, for February 1st showdown in Las Vegas, Nevada at the T-Mobile Arena. Finally, we get two fighters with a lot of hype behind them, guys that we've been putting paired side by side for a few years now, guys who are not even in their prime yet, about to fight. I wrote about it today on our blog on Facebook. I just talked about, hopefully, fingers crossed, the Boxing Gods allows both young men to go into this fight healthy. It's about 9 weeks away, and I can't wait. This is what boxing is all about. We know both guys cut their teeth in the super middleweight division. To remind everyone, this fight will take place at light heavyweight, 174 pounds. Guys, this is the fight, kind of like the next generation, who's up next of the top of that weight class. We know Beterbiev and Bivol are ranked number 1 and number 2 respectively in the world, and right below them is Benavidez and Morrell at 3 and 4 at light heavyweight. Now, one must think whoever wins this fight would get the winner of Bivol versus Beterbiev, and the loser still has a lot to prove, and it's not one of these open and closed books anymore in boxing. I feel if you lose this fight, you're still at the top of the mountain. These guys are 27 and 26 years old. These are young guys, not even in the physical prime, and we do know both of them are coming off of their maiden voyage in a new division. Benavidez didn't look his best against Vosdick, and neither did Morrell against Kalachik. So one would guess and one would expect second fight in this weight class, more than likely, and hopefully we'll get to see the glimpses of greatness from both that we didn't get to see in their first fight at 174. We know with Morrell, the southpaw is fast, he's flashy, he has power. Benavidez, you could say the same thing about him. He's gonna be the bigger guy, slightly older. So in this video, I wanna break down side by side the analytics. I will not be predicting this video because, like I said, we're 9 weeks out, so you're not gonna get my prediction. We're gonna go over their last 5 fights, who they've been fighting. We're gonna add up their resumes, and we're gonna attempt to find some pros and cons for both fighters and see who has the advantages going into this fight. Now, let's take a closer look at David Morrell. Guys, David Morrell is 11-0 with 9 knockouts. He carries into the ring an 82% career knockout to win ratio. He's currently ranked number 4 in the world at light heavyweight. The Cuban southpaw stands at 6'1" with a 78-inch reach. He last fought Kalachik, who was 29-2. That was his first fight at light heavyweight. Morrell won a UD in the 12th. These next fights were at super middleweight. Ekbekbo, 28-2, knockout in the second. Falco, 24-1, knockout in the first. Yibris Newley, 16-0, knockout in the 12th. Kelvin Harrison, 15-1, knockout in the 4th. When you look at Morrell's record 11-0, that doesn't jump off the page. So if you're new to boxing, you'd be like, why does he have so little fights? You have to understand where he comes from. He comes from Cuba. This is a country who cherishes their amateur pedigree, their amateur boxers, and you have a lot of Cuban fighters. Think about Andy Cruz. I think he's 4-0. But these guys have a wealth of amateur experience, so by the time they enter the pro ranks, they're more than ready, as we can see in Morrell, to take on the world's best. When you look at his style, it's going to be interesting to see if he's going to want to stand in front of Benavidez too long. We're going to see how much the egos are going to come to play with both fighters. Saw in the promos today, they were swearing at each other in 2 different languages. They had to be separated. So I feel when Morrell's at his best, he's going to use his movement and his speed, and he's going to use all of that to get the best of Benavidez. We'll see if that happens. It's easier said than done. Benavidez is no slouch, and both guys have power as well. Now let's take a closer look at David Benavidez. Guys, Benavidez is 29-0 with 24 knockouts. He carries into the ring an 83% career knockout to win ratio. He's currently ranked number 3 in the world at light heavyweight. The 27-year-old is an American Orthodox fighter standing at 6'2" with a 74-inch reach. He last fought Vosdik. That was his maiden fight at light heavyweight. Vosdik was 20-1, UD in the 12th. Bubu Andrade, 32-0, knockout in the 6th. Caleb Plant, 22-1, UD in the 12th. David Lemieux, 43-4, knockout in the 3rd. Kyron Davis, 16-2, knockout in the 7th. Benavidez is going to be the slightly taller guy, the slightly older guy, and he has speed and power as well. 83% career knockout to win ratio. Now, what he's going to want to do is show his will early. This is what we see in Benavidez fights. He's never one to shy away from a challenge, and he wants to be the bully. Will he be able to catch up with the speed of Morrell? There's a lot of exciting questions that are going to get answered, especially as we get closer to the fight. If you ask me, looking at that promo video, and this is no shade on Benavidez, but he didn't look like he was in shape. Now, this is coming from a strength and conditioning coach myself, a lifelong athlete. I still spar, I still box, I do powerlifting. I'm 42 years old. So I take pride in living my life healthily 24/7, 365 days a year, walking around with a six-pack. I feel that you always have to be ready for anything. All my coaches always said, if you're always ready for anything, you'll never have to get ready. Looking at Benavidez's body, he looks soft. He looked bloated today. And we know he has a history of partying. We know he was an overweight teen. We know he's been busted by VADA for cocaine in the past. Like I said, this sounds like a lot of shade, but these are just facts. And remember what I always say, stats don't lie. That being said, you look at Morrell, he's always kind of bodied up. He doesn't look like he's going to have to cut as much weight, obviously, as Benavidez. Will this be an issue going to the fight? Who will have the advantage? I'm not predicting anything right now. When you look at these guys side by side, the thing that jumps out is, it shocked me when I was doing the statistics, was Morrell's 4-inch reach advantage. Now, as a southpaw, we know that the Southie's right hand is going to be his jab, and the Orthodox fighter's left hand is going to be their jab. So it's that classic split stance. Will this affect Benavidez? Will he be able to answer that jab of Morrell? And the speed advantage, you got to give it to Morrell as well. It's just that Benavidez is going to have this slight height advantage, and time will tell. We'll see what happens. Looking at the last 5 guys they fought, their resumes, looking at their statistics analytically, basically their physical attributes, do you guys see anybody who has the advantages? When you look at the total rounds fought, you got to give that to Benavidez. It's almost 3-1 when you look at professional rounds. So a lot of things cancel each other out. That's why fight fans have been excited about this fight for a few years now, and we haven't had to wait. Fingers crossed, both guys are healthy, and it goes down February 1st. For now, I want your prediction in the comment section below. Who you got winning this fight, the Cuban or Benavidez? Let me know.